May it please the court.
Counsel.
Mr. Brown, Mr. Claver. Morning. Everyone hear me okay? Good? Okay, if you can't, give me a wave, do something, get my attention. We have the construction again, and I have the microphone kind of near me, so if I need to raise my voice, I will. I won't be yelling at you. I'll just be trying to project and trying to get your attention. All right, where to begin? Let me start by, I guess, saying that I would be remiss if I didn't just take a moment to say thank you, okay? Thank you for your time. Time is your most precious and valuable resource. It's all we have, okay? It's the one thing you can spend, but you can never buy. You never get any more of it. It's the most valuable thing you can give somebody, is giving them your time, being on time. Your time and attention is something that we don't take lightly. We have 6 kids, so we value time, being on time, and attention. And we've been watching. You watch us, we watch you. And you've been very attentive. You've welcomed us into your community. Davenport has been very kind to us. You folks have been very attentive. And you've listened very closely, watched very attentively to some evidence that's been difficult, testimony that's been conflictual, and you've sorted through it, I think, or you will be sorting through it some more. So that's not taken lightly by us. By us, we're very thankful. On behalf of my wife, Jennifer, and most importantly, Mr. Cristhian Bahena, it's very much appreciated. Okay, and that's just not me tossing platitudes at you because we're supposed to, or us just being polite. Okay, that's genuine. We appreciate the fact that you've taken basically 2 weeks of your life, sat through a day and a half of laborious jury selection in that big building, and let us ask questions and pry into your life, and taking the time to listen to the evidence here. We truly appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, the other thing I want to make very clear is that Mollie Tibbetts is truly an innocent victim. She was absolutely an innocent victim here. No doubt about it. This young woman was a spectacular young woman. She was destined to do great things. She was destined to become the change that she wanted to see in the world. She was just about to spread her wings and fly. We acknowledge that. We sympathize with her family. We offer empathy to them. This young lady was on her way to being someone special. No doubt about it. Absolutely no doubt about it. The loss of Mollie Tibbetts is tragic. Absolutely tragic. And the reason I mention that is because the loss of someone like that can evoke a lot of emotion. And it has evoked emotion. And that can be a problem when you are sitting as a juror. Because when you're sitting as a juror, emotions have no place in that deliberation room. You don't decide this case based upon emotions. You don't decide this case with emotions tugging at your heartstrings. It's not your job to right or wrong. It's not your job to impart vengeance. It's not your job to bring justice for Mollie. She deserves justice, absolutely, but that's not your job. Your job is to do justice, period, full stop. Your job is to provide a logical, analytical, almost surgical and mechanical application of what you heard here and the instructions, and that's it. The analysis is simple. The analysis is not whether you go back in that room and decide, I think he did it. The analysis is much, much different than that. The analysis is whether this table and the people from this table, the government of this state of Iowa, and the people hired by the government of this state of Iowa, and the resources they've produced have brought forth enough evidence to prove this case and each and every element of the charge beyond a reasonable doubt. That is a huge standard, folks. That is a high standard. And you cannot forget that, and you must keep that in the forefront of your mind. It must be right here all the time. You can't be swayed by emotion. You can't let pictures and emotions of those pictures get to you. You must be logical, and you must do your job. Judge Yates has told you that. I'm reminding you of that. I'm not talking at you about it. I'm just cautioning you, because that's what justice is. Justice is, have they done their job and proven Cristhian Bahena guilty beyond a reasonable doubt? Have they proven that man, that young man there, is he a murderer? Have all the elements of murder in the first degree of that young man in the middle been proven? Like I said, Mollie Tibbetts deserves justice, but so does Cristhian Bahena. He deserves justice, and your job is to find the truth, judge the facts, and do justice. Now let's set the stage. It's important that you know all the facts, okay? It's important that you understand where we were in July 2018. A lot of time has passed since July 2018. We've lived through a pandemic. Some of us have lived through tornadoes, derechos. Just a lot of time has passed. But this case is much, much different than any case I would submit that you have ever heard, okay? Within a couple days of Mollie's disappearance, the Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation is on scene, okay? Agent Trent Villada is there, and the investigation begins. Shortly thereafter, the Federal Bureau of Investigation is on scene. A number of local law enforcement agencies are on scene. In Brooklyn, Iowa, a town of 1,400 people, Homeland Security shows up in Brooklyn, Iowa, for a missing 20-year-old girl. Use your common sense. Use your experience. When is the last time something like that has happened? It was a circus in Brooklyn, Iowa. Media was everywhere. You heard Agent Villada talk about the media that was there. You heard him talk about this reward that was just skyrocketing. That doesn't happen here in Iowa. Your experience tells you that. Your common sense tells you that. For a missing 20-year-old jogger, we didn't even know that she was dead yet. We didn't know she was picked up off Interstate 80 and abducted. We didn't know anything about that. But like Agent Villada said, within 5 to 7 days, he had the, quote, unlimited resources of the federal government with the FBI. Think about that. Think about that. That is unprecedented. Unprecedented. Now, why do I tell you that? I tell you that because I want to hearken back to Mr. Claver's opening statement. In his opening statement, he said that the DCI comes in town and they kick off an extensive investigation. He tells you the DCI is in town, the FBI is in town, Homeland Security is in town. And every lead came up empty after what he called exhaustive and intensive investigations. 4 weeks, you heard they were canvassing, they were searching everywhere. You saw the map with all the red dots, and they had nothing, okay? Imagine the pressure to close this case. Imagine the pressure to put this case to bed, because that's the context in which this arrest and this charge happened.